What's going on, guys? Hey, Repeat here, and this is
the
FilterTime eSpark iRacing series, hydrated by Be Water.
What's going on, guys? Hey, Repeat back with you. It is Wednesday night. That means it's time for the FilterTime eSpark Xfinity Series, hydrated by the one and only Be Water. And tonight, these guys taking on Sin City. That's right, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Big thank you to FilterTime, the Swag Biz, and of course, man, Byron. It's time for these guys to get down and dirty on a 1.5 mile track. We saw a pretty good race here earlier this week that you actually happened to be a part of. You had a great race going until a little bit of unfortunate business happened. So I might actually lean on you a little bit for your on-track knowledge, where we might start to see some of those runs. But first off, Bud, how are you? Good to have you back, and we're getting ready for that qualifying.
I am amazing, Pete, man, as always, but just checked out really quickly. The admins over here went ahead and told us that they are starting up a new session, had some few mistakes on it. But yeah, Vegas, definitely a tough track. Guys finding themselves mid the high range at ends of runs and mid the low range at the beginning of runs. It may be a little bit different with the Xfinity cars, but I tell you what, trucks, they love sticking down there. I wouldn't be surprised if it is the same for Xfinity cars.
So they told you that they're going to start up a new session, and instead of just popping into the booth to say something in real time. How nice of those guys. All right. So let's actually go on over and see. Almost done setting up the backup lobby standby. All right, so that is what it is. We just saw some guys out there on track. I guess maybe turning a few more extra laps to get ready for this race. I had to make a new session. Be on the lookout. All right, so we'll go ahead and actually let's see here. What can we bring up? How about let's see. I thought I had. No, I guess I don't. Okay, but anyways, so we're gonna go ahead and back out of this. You get to see the lovely, main page for iRacing, if you will. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, you gotta love that, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. Gotta love it. Let's see. Bonanna says had unlimited. They had unlimited fast repairs on for practice, so they had to back on out, and they're going to go back in. So hopefully they'll let us know when they're ready to go. But yeah, Byron, you had an amazing run in that race. I believe it was Monday night in your More Than a Cape. .org Chevy Silverado until some very, very unfortunate issues while you were running P2 right behind Mr. Blevins, if I'm not mistaken. Got knocked up to the wall. Now the trucks and the Xfinity cars here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, what's the biggest difference that you would expect here?
Looseness, how loose these cars are going to be. Trucks, you can put them on down at that bottom. They will stick like glued to it. You put those Xfinity cars, we saw it in practice, just a little. Guys were slipping and sliding, trying to sort of find their way through the track. But once they did, you heat up the tires just a tad. Actually, I'll take that back, because trucks did slip and slide early on too. You just got to heat up the tires as always. But I think at the end of the day, just speed. Trucks, you were hammered down on the pedal for at least 15 laps before you had to truly start backing off. Xfinity, you're going to go in, let off just a tad, then get right back in it. And tires do burn just a tad bit easier in those Xfinity cars with how loose they find themselves.
Gotcha. And that was actually something that somebody asked me. I think it might have been Boehner, or actually no, it was Rick James last night. during the race at Charlotte, which getting into one at Charlotte and getting into one here at Las Vegas kind of similar, because you're turning in and under the, with those fresh tires but the lower speed, sometimes you might tend to put a little bit too much wheel into it, and like we saw you do, and this isn't any kind of a knock or anything like that towards you, during, I think it was after the first after the first yellow flag came out, or it might have been the second, you went in, you're still able to keep somewhat of your track position, and going into, it was either 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 for the first time, you put a little bit too much wheel in it. You got the left front down on the apron, you got a little loose, you checked up, the guy behind you was able to check up, and you did, there was no big issue, everybody was able to avoid any kind of a problem. Can we expect something like that here as well with the initial looseness? And also, you're in practice and in qualifying, you're so used to getting into the corner at a higher rate of speed than you are when you first take the green. Do you foresee an issue like that?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think that's going to be one of the things that you could see very, very early on, is those guys getting to the apron and finding themselves hitting it just a tad, and it upsets the car really badly and says, you know what, I need to get off that. But in the same boat, it's trying to keep down on the bottom as it's pushing up. So therefore, back end starts swirling a little. And the next thing you know, the whole car is looped around, potentially guys hitting you or guys getting past you. I think it's just, at the end of the day, you got to solely take care of your car so it can take care of you on track, which I think we're going to see a lot of give and take tonight with how big the track is and sort of all the range you have. You think tracks like this typically have maybe 1, 2 grooves. This has about 3, possibly 4 if you can do it right. At the end of the day, that's all you got to be, is patient. That's what it all comes down to in any sort of series that you find yourself in, whether that's truck, Xfinity, Cup, whatever it is. It's all about consistency and how patient you're going to find yourself all the way through the end of the race.
Gotcha. Well, for anybody else that's just joining, we are under a little bit of a delay. There was an issue with the way the original lobby was set up. So young Byron and I just kind of hanging out here a little bit, talking about what we might expect from this race, and whether it's going to be long run, short run. They had a ton of cautions, unfortunately, at Martinsville. So I think it was Dohar or somebody else earlier retweeted that's going to be a little bit of redemption for a lot of people as well. And now we're getting word from Jaden Gimbel that the session is live. So let's back out and try to come back in. And yep, I see Jeff No in there. So we're going to go ahead and try to hop in off of him. And then we'll get this up and running. Definitely appreciate everybody being patient, and welcome to this FilterTime eSpark Xfinity race from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Once we get loaded in, it's bound to be a lot of fun, Byron.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. At the end of the day, this is what I love: being up here, being in the booth, watching these guys attack the track. Like James Holzer, or like a few others such as Jaden Gimbel, J-Mac, which is fun to watch too, alongside Joey Stone. At the end of the day, it's just amazing to see how guys sort of, their perspective of how they're attacking the track and what speeds they're going to come at.
There you go. And when I sent out a tweet earlier today about the race, I said just that. Holzer, he's been very, very strong throughout the first several races. He's got 3 wins already: Michigan, Atlanta, and last week at Martinsville. There was and then of course Honeycutt won Daytona, and I'm trying to remember the guy's name that won Watkins Glen. I mean, he just dominated. I don't think I said his name very much because he was gone most of the time. We were paying attention to a lot of the guys from second on back and making sure that we covered any and all issues that happened. I think there were only like two races, or I'm sorry, two cautions in that race as well. But If you had to pick, since we're in Las Vegas, we're talking over and under, and we're talking odds. What's the over under on cautions tonight? Do you think? Do you think it's going to be more of a green flag run, or you think we're going to be looking at a pretty decent amount of cautions as well?
I would say probably under 3 is my assumption. If you can get under 3, that's the typical. Obviously, we did see it with the Be Water series. Prime example, we saw about maybe 4 or 5 cautions
Yep.
that night. I wouldn't be surprised if it is about that same stint, maybe a little less. I guess knowing whether or not these guys are going to be patient at the end of the night, because that was one thing we saw at Martinsville. Cautions kept coming out, but guys kept being aggressive. Maybe they'll realize just to dial it down just a tad tonight and allow green flag runs to happen.
Oh, there you go. All right, so we are we're back. Looks like so far with the guys that have turned a full lap. Looks like Tim Moore, he's the fastest so far, followed by Cody Kalinka. He's making just his second ever start here in eSpark. Then John Osborne, followed by Josh Harbin, Brendan Book, and Connor Cortez. Old Dr. Bush. He's going to round out your top 6. And then, again, so far, those are the only people that have taken time. We've got about 5 minutes or so before qualifying starts. So anybody out there, if you need to go on and grab yourself some popcorn, some goobers, maybe a Bud Light or a bottle of Bee Water or maybe a Raise Energy, whatever you got to get, go ahead and get it. You got a little bit of time yet. I believe earlier, Jaden Gimbel sent out the points after Martinsville. I'm going to try to go ahead and find those for us right now. Let's see where that stands. Kind of the cheap way to do it. Let's see if we can. There we go. Let's just go ahead and do it like that. What do you think? So, nope, that's not gonna work. Okay, so there's our points so far after Martinsville. James Holzer, of course, 3 wins. He's got a pretty good grip on the points so far. 204 points. Brendan Book, the 5 car, he's been right there with him throughout the first several races. And then, of course, Jordan Bain in that B Water number 28, Elliot Henderson and Tyler Dohar with Jordan McGraw, Sam Morris, John Honeycutt, Maxwell Castro, and DJ Stagner. I don't know about you, Byron, but those are pretty much the people or the names that we talk about the most throughout these races. Yeah, every now and then we see a Justin Mons, or we see a Toll Owen, a Joey Stone, of course, Jaden Gimbel, Stan Carnathan, and a couple of others. Josh Harbin in the 3, Connor Cortez, we just mentioned, Dr. Bush. So there's quite a few people in there. Anybody surprise you in the points category?
I don't know. It doesn't really seem like it. Obviously, the guys that are up there have really proven it. We've talked about them a ton, like you said. James Holzer, one of the huge ones that we talk about all the time. Whether or not is he going to be able to win again this week and be able to accomplish something that we haven't seen in a very, very long time, and that's being able to get away and run away with the point standings. Last time we've really seen that was with the 28 of Jordan Bain, which, speaking of him, kind of does surprise me a little bit how further back he is, but he's sort of that last half kick it on sort of guy that it just seems like something uh, flips. There you go, flips halfway through the season and he just takes off with it. But I don't know, a lot of competitive guys up here. What about you?
Um, yeah, I gotta say, there definitely seem to be more people that get wrapped up in incidents more often than not. I mean, I'm looking at Hunter Brittle. We were just looking at him back in P12, P13 with Tom Flitcroft. Tom Flitcroft, it seems like recently he can do no right. He happens to get wrapped up in just about everything that's been around. He's almost like been an accident magnet. The same thing with Stout Whiskey. Jeff No. Jeff No, he's back there in 35th. That's almost kind of where you'd imagine Tom Flitcroft would be, but Tom had a great runner-up finish, or second or third place finish, I believe, at Atlanta. So that could just that could be the real big difference maker. As it looks like we've got we only got about 10 seconds left before we get into qualifying here, bud.
Yeah. Right now, Holter's still on the front. We saw it happen in the last practice. He was top dogging over there. I wouldn't be surprised if it does transpire though over here as well. Yeah, a lot of big things that could happen tonight. A huge upset could happen as well. I think at the end of the day, it's going to go to the guy that's been the most patient the entire time.
There you go. Let's see what kind of weather these guys are going to be what they're going to have to deal with as you pull that up there on the right hand side. It's going to be partly cloudy. The air temp's going to be about 90 degrees. We're going to go ahead and turn off this alternate or the new sponsor logo for just a moment. We'll bring it right back. Track temp looks like it's going to be about 93 degrees. So air temp at 90, track temp 93. That's pretty even.
Yeah. I don't know how much that really would affect these cars. That I'm not really skilled in that wise of track temperature and all that, but I would assume 93 degrees is very good at a track like this, allowing more open airflow for the guys to be able to sort of grip in with their tires and not be as loose as it would be about maybe 102, 103, because at the end of the day, that's what sort of affects the cars too, how hot the track's going to be.
Looking now at the number 8 Exalta Camaro for Tom Flitcroft. He's going down the backstretch, the Nellis straightaway from old Nellis Air Force Base out in Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually, let's see if we can't get a little bit of information off of old Tom Flitcroft. I know that he's actually, I believe, from Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. As he came across the line, he's going to swoop it up, let it go all the way up to the wall in turn number 1, and try to dig on down. Now he's not on that bottom line. He's about a half a groove up off that white line, so he's not scrubbing off too much speed, keeping a little bit of momentum. He's not all the way up high, which that high line will come into play later on, because there is a lot of speed that can be kept up there. And as this 8 comes off the line, digging all the way down to the apron, across the line, Tom Flitcroft, top of the board.
Yeah, one thing that sort of surprised me with how was the way you're seeing some of these drivers, they're breaking off the wall just like you did see very momentarily with the 24. When they hit that backstretch, they go up near it and break off almost like they're trying to side draft a car, except they're doing with the wall. And you'll see all these guys on their last lap diving on down there, except for the 24. He didn't get all the way down on the apron. That's going to go ahead and put him P4 for right now.
There we go. So let's catch up with the number 50 for John Honeycutt, as he actually just went to the top of the board as well. So he's on his cool down lap. Here's the 3. He's cooling down also. Jordan McGraw, looks like he is done. Sean Blanchard, he's at full speed.
Nope.
He's not. He's coming down as well. All right, let's see. Jordan Martin. Okay, here's this number 88 Good Humor Machine. Now he's a whole lot further down than the 8 was, but he's good. All the same, he's going to let it wash up off the corner, up to that outside wall, carry as much speed as he can, and really get a great arc into turns 3 and 4. And I believe you said earlier you're really just burping the throttle here. You're not actually out of it for very long, and that's it. Looks like exactly what he did there. And it looks like he's going to be somewhere beyond P number 10.
P11.
There you go, P11, as we catch up with the 28 now of Jordan Bain.
This one, the guys to watch, it looked like his first lap was a little bit slow. Actually, as I say that, I believe his qualifying is all done as well, and that's going to put him up to P2. There you go. He was P21 the first time by, really let that car sail on the second one, and definitely paid off for him there.
Yeah, it looks like Jeff No is done with his lap. Here's the 77 FilterTime Camaro for Tyler Dohar. Looks like Tyler is still on his burner lap. Sparl out there in chat. I see you, buddy. What's happening, man?
He is letting off the apron just a little. I wonder if right now the apron being off it just a tad does help out these cars, specifically where you're not upsetting them a ton. We'll have to see where Dohar goes up to P20. So that's going to be a little bit of a rough starting position, but he's one of those guys that sort of battle back from being back there.
Yeah, it looks like the 23 of Jose Ruiz. Looks like he's done. As you see the flames kick out of the side of that number 23 Maxwell House machine. There's DJ Stagner in the 64. He's done. Here's the 5 of Brendan Book. New colors. That used to be white with the Target logo. Now it's all black with a red Target logo. And it looks like that is going to do it for qualifying. I don't see anybody else out there. Nope, that's going to be it. So good job by Mr. Honeycutt. He's going to have the pole with Jordan Bain to his outside. Now we got a little bit of warm up here, guys. We're going to take a quick second, and we will be right back. I absolutely promise you. Never mind. Scratch that. Disregard. Okay, let's go ahead and bring that back. Get rid of that. Get rid of the music. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. I don't, because there's. I was thinking. Normally we'd have a little bit here, and I'd have a moment to make a couple of quick adjustments, but unfortunately not. Frozen Toes out there in chat said, "What's up, Rock? Rock NASCAR, good to see you as well." Frozen says she is not spotting for Honeycutt tonight, although she did a fantastic job for him at Daytona, guided that number 50 Camaro to the finish line in what was an amazing 3-wide finish between Honeycutt, Blevins, and one other. Frozen, I am doing absolutely fine. I definitely hope you are. Definitely want to thank everybody that's out there for coming out, hanging out, chatting it up with me and Mr. Byron Jones. Y'all know him as AZ Yotes King. But I think he's kind of growing up out of that. Knights, what's happening, man? We got about 3 minutes to go here, Byron. So again, we're in Sin City. I know you're too young to gamble. We'll keep it on the down low. Who's your bets tonight? Who's your favorites?
I'll slip you a 5 under the bill for the 50. That's my luck.
Ooh.
I mean, that's my dice roll right there. I'm going with the 50. Qualified on pole. I think he's got a great shot at tonight.
So you're looking at an ace and a king, talking about blackjack for the number 50 of Honeycutt. I'm going to go over to the craps table, see if I can't roll 7s all night long and walk away with bank. We'll have to see. Boehner out there in chat saying, "Yo, Boehner, he's going to start this from P number 2." Now, Byron, we talked just a little bit about the that high side momentum here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. When you ran here the other night, did that high line come in right away, or is that something that had to be built up throughout the night? Is Banner going to be able to rely on that grip right off the get-go, or is it going to take a little bit more heat in the tire, a little bit more wear into the track? How long does it take for that high line to actually come in?
When I think of it like Charlotte. I was talking to my spotter when I did trucks here. You want to be on the outside with the cold tires because yes, you put yourself at a disadvantage almost straight away, but you also have an advantage of being able to pinch the driver down there. And with cold tires, they're going to get loose, they're going to get squirrely, they're going to have to find themselves backing up because of it. I think the outside line's a perfect spot for the start of the race, although you got to maneuver yourself down there fast or else you're going to burn them up very, very quickly. And I think that's sort of the thing that Bane's got to walk in. Man, I know you're listening just a little. If you get on down, pinch him. Maybe he backs up just a tad saying, hey, hold up, I got cold tires. I may spin it.
Yeah, but at the same point, you're talking about getting loose at the beginning. So if you're Honeycutt, you don't want to be pinched down, and if you're Banner, you don't want to pinch him down because you don't want to see him get loose and possibly wreck you both, as well as a whole bunch of other cars behind it. So I guess it's a little bit of a catch-22. What do you do? If you're the 28, do you take the high line momentum at the beginning since you've got a little bit more banking, you've got a little bit more grip up high, and at the same point, if you're Honeycutt, do you maybe come up off that bottom line just maybe a half a lane or so to try to get a little bit more of that grip as well? I guess we'll have to see. We got about 20 seconds before they all start to grid and we get this race underway. It's going to be a lot of fun. I think we've got about 110, 115 laps here at Las Vegas. And if I'm not mistaken, we're going to see that transition from day into night as well. So it's not only going to be what it is at the beginning for these guys, but as the race changes over, they're going to have to get used to that transition and be able to adapt to that as well, whether it's through brake bias or just two tires, maybe lightening the fuel load. If it comes down to a late race caution or something like that, it's going to absolutely be very, very interesting. All right, so these guys are going to start gridding up. There you see. Looks like right now Stan Carnathan so far he's ready to go in that number 82 B-Water Chevy Camaro. Let's see if we can't work our way up to the front just a little bit and pick up with that number 50 of John Honeycutt. There you see him. Let's try to get a little bit of information on these guys as we go through. So you see the 50 of John Honeycutt in that high-tech security services Camaro. To his outside, again, Jordan Bain. And then you're going to have Brendan Book back here in the target number 5. Tom Flitcroft's not yet loaded in that number 8. There he is, in that number 8 Exalta Camaro. Timothy Moore. And then we got the 16 of Cody Giles, old Fluffy there. Connor Cortez in that number 24. Dr. Bush John Deere Ford Mustang. Perrin Huggins in that number 31 M&M's Machine. Justin Mons in the 41 Gamer. Then we got the 64, another Exalta scheme. Looks pretty good, actually. Let's see if we can't flip this up just a little bit. Then we got Sam Morris a little bit further back, followed by Jordan Martin, Toll Owen in that 09. Hunter Brittle in that number 10. He's been doing very, very well. The 23 of Jose Ruiz, the 17 of J. Mackle, Jordan McGraw. Sean Blanchard back here in the number 91. Josh Harbin in that number 3. And we're actually going to work our way back up because we need to make sure that we are with them when they're ready to go. So again, we've got 30 guys. It looks like Elliot Henderson and one other were able to make a late appearance. Man, you ready for this? Are you ready to go?
Is that even a question? Of course I'm ready to go. It's going to be exciting to see how these guys are going to sort of tackle this, but at the end of the day, just got to play smart, and I think that's what it all comes down to.
Absolutely. So the 50 of Honeycutt, he's going to be your control car. He's going to be the first one to jump on the loud pedal. Right now, Jordan Bain, he is looking out that left side window and just trying to judge the start with the 50. No games playing 50. He's just going to get right on it. 28, he's going to be able to get a pretty decent start as well. And look at this. The 50 moved up to about that middle line. He's not, well, he wasn't right on the bottom line to start off with. But the 28 stayed high. He's going to stay to the outside of the 5. 8 and 74, they're going to be right behind him.
High side momentum right now. I think it's sort of the position you want to be. As I say that, though, there goes the 28 Jordan Bain, dropping all the way down to the bottom part of the apron. Now here comes the 5 of Brendan Book, currently battling the 17 of James Holzer, which is finding himself all the way back in P21 for the points lead in this season so far, as a caution already flies.
First caution out. We'll go ahead and drop back, see if we can find out exactly what happened here in a moment. So far, nothing has come up. Let's go ahead and clear that for you. Did you happen to see who or where?
That is a great question. I would think it's maybe mid to backpack.
All right, so Spurl wants to know if it's a 17. I hope not. Let's go back and see if we can't find the 17 of James Holzer. There he is. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Since he was in the middle.
Looks like 24 was involved.
You said a 24?
Yep, right in front of him. He's missing his back bumper.
All right, so let's ride backwards here with Connor. Since SDK was nice enough not to tell me exactly who or what it was.
Right?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely up into the wall. We're going to stop it right there. We'll go ahead and jump on board with the 24, and away we go. So he's got the 41 underneath him. In that second, it looks like it was a little bit of netcode between him and the car that was underneath him. And it looks like it did collect at least one other, maybe Sean Blanch. Nope, not. Nope, it was. Looks like it was, most of it did stay. Most of it did stay with the 24. There was one guy that kind of got involved just a little bit, but yeah, the tool does not pick up on everything, unfortunately. So here we are. We are back live now. This is way too early for anybody to really pit, but I would imagine if you've got a little bit of practice, you might come on down, or I'm sorry, a little bit of damage rather. You might come on down, maybe grab especially if you're in the back, grab a few seconds of repair and then come on back out. But definitely no gas, no tires, no nothing like that. There's no sense in wasting a set this early.
No. I think if you do have damage, if you have enough time, get that extra fuel. You never know, you may need it a little bit later on, but other than that, stay on out. If you have a spotter, relay to them sort of early on. If you can sort of mention how your car's feeling and whatnot, maybe they can go ahead and help that out. That's my only thought right now. Did you see the 53 of John Osborne must have been another victim to that, or decide to come down for fuel?
Yeah, and you know what? If he did come down to just top off, that might not be a bad idea. All right, so back up front with our leader. Now, Byron, I'm kind of curious. Do you think the way the 5 took the lead, do you think it was just because he got a good run, or do you think maybe the 50 is already checking up and maybe saving a little bit for the long run?
I think that's what he's doing. I think Honeycutt over there is sort of planning ahead, rather, is the way I would put it. Planning ahead, knowing what is to come, and how he can sort of set himself up to be at the right place, right time later on in the race. If it is what he's doing, it's a smart move right now.
Well, John is definitely a very, very smart racer. I've seen him win them. I've seen him lose them. We saw him take the checkers at Daytona to kick this FilterTime eSpark series off. So yeah, John is he's actually a very, very smart racer. I mean, come on, he picked Frozen Toes as his spotter. It doesn't get much smarter than that, right?
Right? Yeah, of course. The one that knows the intels of the ins and outs, watching the cars and sort of expecting what could happen. And you got the one on the track thinking ahead, thinking smart. He's definitely on the right path tonight, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Kind of an interesting move. The 5 of Brendan Book's gonna pick
Frozen
the
doesn't
outside.
agree with me. She gave me a big old OGs in the chat. So the 5 is actually going to go. I guess he took the. He decided he was going to go ahead and take the high side on that restart. So Brendan Book out to a pretty decent little 2/10 gap over the 28 of Jordan Bain, and then you see the 8 of Tom Flitcroft come up to the outside of guiding himself along that wall, staying to the outside of the 28, but the 50 of John Honeycutt not going too far behind.
Yeah, Honeycutt not falling too far back. He is falling back about half a second, though. But that's one of the things to sort of expect with the fact that this 5 was able to take the lead as fast as he could. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts driving away slowly but surely. Now out to 2/10 of a gap. Spain's trying to reel him right back in.
Now you see that the momentum that the 8 car carried off the corner, was able to pull right back to the back bumper of the 28 of Jordan Bain. Now up high just a little bit. He gave a little bit of gap back, but that's going to allow the 8 car to save just a little bit and carry that momentum off. Here he is sucking right back up to the back end of that 28. The 50 of John Honeycutt, he's staying right between them 3 and the 74 of Timothy Moore back here in this cat car, and the old Cody Giles in this number 16, a whole single file line, mostly single file line, up along that wall all the way down the Nellis straightaway.
Yeah, and that's one thing that sort of happened in the B-Water. You got guys that lined up, next thing you know, they were gone off to the races, sort of creating a race of their own. 16 right now, trying to catch back up with the 74 of Timothy Moore as they're trying to catch the 50 of Honeycutt. At some point, you got to start doing something. They're trying everything they can to catch the top 3.
Yeah, they really are, but that top 3 right now is pretty stout, and as long as these other guys back here continue to fight each other, this was something that I mentioned a few times during the B-Water race and also during the Turn Down for What championship race at Charlotte Motor Speedway last night. As long as they continue to battle side by side, you got the guy on the top pinching the guy on the bottom down. As long as they continue to battle, the guys in the front, they're going to continue to walk away because the people behind them, they can't get back on the throttle. They can't carry as much speed as they want to. So as long as 4th and 5th right here continue to battle between the 74 and the 50, the top 3 are going to sail away.
Yeah, 74 got right to the rear end of the 50 instead of pushing him, decided, hey, you know what, I'm going to make a move to the inside. Kind of worked out for him right now until that 50 catches him back and saying, hey, guess what? You raced me just a tad bit rough. Maybe it didn't give him a little bit of a nudge, but now you see the 16 looking to dive it in on this 50. He's got to start playing maybe somewhat aggressive, but then again, we were talking about it early on. He could just be saving his tires for that late run.
Absolutely. But now, do you think that if he was trying to save more tire, he'd be running up high, or is the low line really the place to be to save that tire? I figure if you're up high, you're on the throttle more, which means you're scrubbing just a little bit more of your tire off. Where if you're down low, you're out of the throttle a little bit more and you're gassing it more to come up off the corner, as long as you're not being pinched down. It's kind of where do you go? Right now, these cars are handling at their peak. They're no longer really loose. They're actually probably starting to feel just a little free. You might have to pedal a little bit depending, if you have somebody up your tailpipe, or if you kind of lose the nose, get a little tight straight behind somebody, like you see the 16 and the 50 right now. But other than that, this is wide open.
Yeah, everybody's still within each other. It looks like maybe back to roughly 15th is about where, 14th is where you start to see the distance gap between the two packs that are starting to form up here. So you see guys starting to go side by side. That is going to hurt this pack behind. And guess what? None other than the leader of that second pack would be the 17 of James Holter, trying to catch the rest of the field right now. Only question is he scrubbing off too many tires way too early?
Yeah, James Holzer back there as you see the 37 of Elliott Henderson right behind him. They are all single file, and you know what? Probably not, no better car to be behind than that 17, our existing points leader in that Ray's Camaro. In front of them, they are, they're kind of mixing it up a little bit, but not too much. There's a whole lot of single file all the way around this track. Almost looks like a conveyor belt mixed between the very bottom line and just a groove or a half a groove off the white line going through the corners.
Yeah, most definitely. It's just sort of guys taking their time, sort of saying, hey, you know what, not going to really push the car as much as I would expect it to. Maybe in about 10 more laps, then I really start turning it up just a tad, trying to get as much as I can out of those tires before I come on down pit road for tires. Already 15 laps in, guys being very, very patient. Definitely something you want to see at a track like Vegas. Least amount of cautions. Let's get some green flag runs in, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Absolutely. We're going to go ahead and pull back up top to the 8 car of old Tom Flitcroft. See exactly how he's doing. He's riding the back bumper of that 28 B-Water machine of Jordan Bain. It's kind of giving him a little bit of a shove, a little bit of love. Hoping that maybe he can get back up there to the back bumper of the 5 of Brendan Book. But so far, no dice. It looks like Brendan Book for at least the short run, we'll say, as we're only 17 laps in, that he's got a car that can really stay out front. Clean air is king. Old Roman out there, Nick Roman, HD Motorsports, out there in chat, and he is one that would vouch for that. I don't know how many races he won in the NNR series once they transferred over to iRacing, where he attributed his victories to clean air. The 17 and most of his wins this year was all about clean air. Right now, the 5 of Brendan Book, that's exactly what he's got on the nose of that target machine, and he's able to put that car anywhere he wants to go.
Yeah, most definitely. And you see that 8 sort of searching around the track, the 8 of Thomas Flitcroft. He was was in a battle with that 28. I think at this point, everybody's running that low line. Get your car where the dirty air isn't. Like you said, clean air. Find yourself in that top groove. Maybe experiment a little. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. You still got well over 90 laps left in the race. Do what you can, like the 28 of Jordan Bain. As now you see, he's making a move to that mid to high range. Going to try to wheel in that 5 of Brendan Book, who is currently trying to battle not only for a win, but to take over the points lead once again over that 17 James Holzer.
Yeah, looking on board from the nose camera from this 28 B-Water Mustang, and he has gotten closer and closer to the back end of this 5. Here he is. It looks like he's going to have a little bit of momentum, and he's going to be able to get to the inside. They're going to go side by side into turns 3 and 4. 5 now, he's going to have the momentum. Jordan Bain's going to try to get back on the throttle. He's not going to have any say about that spot. Jordan Bain learning exactly where he can and where he can't put this car to try to get that pass completed.
He must be a listener or something, man. He's taking it. He's experimenting, doing what he can, moving to the outside lane, taking advantage of it. That's where trucks found themselves the other night. I mean, it was maybe 4 guys at the bottom. 1 car was still able to hold on, wasn't really able to pass or do anything. But as soon as they were able to break away, and it was a one-on-one, that outside lane just dominated for passing and getting around cars. It's nice to see Bain catching the 5 again. Maybe he'll pull something different this time. Absolutely.
Instead of following the 5 down low, he actually kept it in that second to first and about 1.5 to second or second groove off the bottom. There we go. I learned to speak English one of these days. But he didn't paint that white line on the bottom where the 5 went. He stayed up high just a little bit to carry a little bit more momentum, and that was exactly how he caught the 5 and then tried going underneath him, where he really just should have just stayed high and kept it moving. But now the 5 seems like he's caught on to the line that the 28 had. He's going to try to slam that door one more time, and the more these guys go back and forth, the 88, the 74, and the 16 of Cody Giles getting right back up to their bumpers.
Yep, meanwhile, the 94, 41, 50 finding themselves all battling side by side. They got to start lining up just a tad bit back there, seeing the battles that are going on up in the lead. 1674, those two are about to go side by side in the 1 and 2. Oh, 74 letting off a lot. Looks like he's going to go ahead and let the 16 on by. Now that allows the 16 to sort of get his nose into this battle going on right now for the lead top dog position, however you want to put it. But now look at this, up to P10. They are all gathered together, and they are just one huge gaggle of cars right now.
Absolutely, riding on board right now with the with that 88 of Jordan Martin, that good humor Junior Motorsports entry, right behind the 64 of DJ Stagner. Couple of cars ahead is going to be the 41 of old Justin Mons, the 50 of John Honeycutt, and then Sam Morris right here in that number 94.
You know, I'm going to hit a little touchy topic.
Uh-oh.
Does Jeff Gordon paint schemes belong on a Toyota?
No.
No? Never mind, it's not as touchy as I thought it was.
Yeah, there's no hesitation right there. But you know what? I mean, these guys, they make it as they see it. What if, Exalta left Hendrick Motorsports and went to Joe Gibbs? You would absolutely see, a rainbow-colored car. Spurl agrees with me. No! Yeah, you'd see, Exalta colors on a Toyota. But do they belong? No. It's kind of like, does the season opener belong at Phoenix Raceway? No. Tradition has been at Daytona. Everything opens up in the middle of the season at Daytona. So, yeah, there you go. Let's go ahead and check back in with our leaders. The 28 of Jordan Bain looks like he's fallen off just a little bit. So Brendan Book was able to hold off that Mustang. And now the 16 of Cody Giles and the 8 car of Tom Flitcroft, they are side by side pretty close right now. And right behind them, Timothy Moore's got to try to figure out which lane to go with.
Yeah, one of the guys right now that's been able to back up his tires, I think, from the way he's been driving, has been that 16 of Cody Giles. Now starting to come alive with the car, saying, hey, guess what? I'm here. I'm ready to shine. As he did get really close to that 8, but that 8 was able to get past him in time before he slid up. That's another huge thing that happens here. Once your tires start to burn, you slide up all over the track, and that 5 seems like his tires are refusing to burn right now. He's starting to increase his lead once again on that 28.
Yeah, we'll get back up here with the 28. We saw the 16 come around the 74. Now Boehner is up high. 8 car had to check up just a little bit. I'm going to guess the 8 is starting to get just a little tight. I saw him fall back off just a skosh, and that allowed the 16 to pull up to his outside. So the 16 might have been saving. 8 car was charging just like the 28. And now you see the 28 pulling himself back up to the rear end of the 5 one more time. Boehner's consistent no matter which track he's at. He actually won the turn down for what Xfinity Series Championship during their race last night at Charlotte Motor Speedway by a slim margin over Hunter Peach, another great driver that's going to be coming up, and I'm sure you'll see in various leagues throughout iRacing. But right now, this top 6 is all about it.
Yeah, they're still all refusing to sort of fall off on tires or anything. As you see 50, that last car, part of this small little train going on. Then you got the 94, Samuel Morris, trying to close the gap back in on them. He has about 4 cars behind him. I'm still surprised to sort of see how this has all been a train. I expected guys to sort of break away, take off, say see you later, but no. Right now everybody's all training up, and something must be going on with that 8. He must be running out of tires. He is dropping like a box of rocks right now, already back to P number 4, getting ready to get past for P5 and 6.
Absolutely. We saw the 50 of John Honeycutt. He kind of fell back at the very beginning, and I was kind of curious whether he was doing that by design after taking the pole, or if he was just, or if he maybe missed a shift maybe, or something like that. but the 50 of John Honeycutt now getting past the 74, pulling to the back bumper of the 8, and he's on that high line. So he's carrying momentum, and it looks like where other people have really burnt up their tires, you can expect Honeycutt to probably have the position from the 8 by the exit of turn number 2 as he slides underneath him.
Yep, gonna go ahead and slide underneath him. Wouldn't be surprised. There you go. Slide move up just a little. Slide job, rather, went up just a tad. Something that's only referred in dirt, but hey, we're gonna use it on pavement as well. Honeycutt now up to P4, looking to track down top 3 once again. Found himself in this position earlier. Now he's gonna attempt to do it once again, as the 74 and 8 are gonna start battling side by side. These two just gonna keep burning their tires up if they continuously do this.
Yeah, the 8 and 74, they seem very, very equal with what they've got, and they were, very, very close to each other throughout these first 34 laps. We'll start lap 35 next time they come to the start stripe. But so far, it really has been the all about the 5 of Brendan Book, the 28 of Jordan Bain, and the 16 of Cody Giles has slowly but surely been able to creep his target machine up into the top 3.
Yeah, and I think if you're sort of behind this 5, Bain moving up just a tad, that's going to allow the 16 to get to his quarter panel. Not going to be able to do much, though, off corner exit. As you see it, look at it. Just the way they take off on that high lane, just the amount of momentum they have. Wouldn't be surprised if maybe guys start moving up there just a tad bit more or find themselves a little bit higher in the lanes. Although that 5 still refusing to move up at all. He is in love with that white line.
Absolutely, very much so, and he's doing a great job. So I'm going to guess that he's found the comfort level of that 5 to where he's not pushing it. Excuse me. And he's just able to maintain his pace. If he sees the 28 getting close, he puts it down just a little bit more. Otherwise, he's kind of backing off just a little bit, try to save a little bit. And I mean, so far, he's been able to hold the entire field at bay. Jordan Bain's been able to pull up once or twice, but has not been able to pass. As the old saying goes, catching is one thing, passing completely something different.
Yeah, most definitely. I wouldn't be surprised. Pit stops start happening soon, though. Maybe about lap 40, who knows? But I'm sort of doing the math in my head. If these guys do get to lap 40, they should be fine on field. I'll leave them with 10 left. Unless if something unexpected happens, but I don't see that really happening without everybody starting to spread out. As I say that, I was looking in the back. Sure enough, I did see it right. 17 of James Holzer up 21 positions this race, now in the P6, looking to charge his way up to P1, and he's still full steam ahead.
Absolutely. Finds his way underneath the 8 of Tom Playcroft. As you said, the biggest mover right now, up 21 spots since the beginning of the race. I tell you what, if there was a point given for most amount of cars passed during a race, he would have got that last week, and so far this week he's trying to pull the same thing off. Holzer definitely is very, very comfortable here on this platform. He's pretty good over on console as well. Man, he's flying around this place.
Here soon he may have to be called James Holzer Kings of Ovals, because that's where he's been dominant so far this season. Has been mile and a halves, and then the one win at Martinsville. The other two have just been one a road course ringer and the other luck. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's really luck when you see the 50 in victory lane. It always comes down to strategy or something over there. But
maybe
yeah,
great spotting.
There you go. Yeah, great spotting. Yeah, keep this between us, right? It's not live. I'm just messing, but yeah. At the end of the day, Holzer right now dominating the field. He's already caught the 74, looking for the inside, maybe outside of him. That's going to be another one to click off. Start cueing the Jaws music because he's coming in hot.
Yeah, it's not going to be long before Holzer's going to be able to work his way by Tim Moore, and there he goes now battling underneath. Tim Moore sees him coming, knows he's faster. He's just going to go ahead and let him go. We're going to check back a little bit further between the 41 of Justin Mons and the 37 of Elliot Henderson. All this happening right now behind Samuel Morris. in that number 94 machine. And it looks like he is running the same paint scheme as last week, where that character was scared to pieces going into the turn 1 and turn 3 wall around Martinsville. So far, Sam Morris is up 5 spots since he qualified, and a couple spots back in P11 right now. You're going to find this number 23 Maxwell House Camaro for the one and only Jose Ruiz.
I wouldn't count out the guy behind him right now, P12, the 27 of Maxwell Castro. Looks like he is the second biggest mover, already up 16 positions in this race. Trying to catch the 23 of Jose Ruiz after getting himself around the 34, Jordan McGraw. He's another one of those guys that we may need to keep an eye on a little bit later in this race.
Absolutely. And you mentioned it a little bit ago, and I think I saw it out there in chat as well. They said right around lap 40 for pits. Well, so far, Toll Owen has gone down pit road. So is Jeff No, DJ Stagner, Jordan Martin, and a few others. Perrin Huggins, Cody Kalinka. They've all gone down pit road. So we're going to go back up front with our leaders as we're going to watch the 16 of Cody Giles pull right to the back bumper. Right now it is an all-target Camaro, top 2 with that Mustang of Jordan Baines right now sitting in P number 3. It's not going to be long before these guys head down pit road as well, as long as the 16 can keep it off that left rear of the 5.
Ooh, looked like he's got to keep it off that wall too. No sense in putting a little bit of chrome on that side of the wall. It's already white enough, but 16 starting to make moves to the bottom. Thought he was maybe going to come down. That's possibly when we may see it, but look at the momentum that 16 gets from just the bottom lane out of 4. Maybe that's the spot to be right now. As I say that, here comes 17 and 50. They're going to fight themselves right into this top 3 right now. 28 of Jordan Bain, next victim for that 17.
Absolutely, 17 right there, up now 23 spots. And he's bringing John Honeycutt right along with him. He's going to dive low underneath the 28. John Honeycutt in that 50. He's going to stay right behind the B-Water Mustang for Jordan Bain. So he's continuing to march up. Bain's just going to go ahead and kind of say, hey, man, I see you coming. You got the draft. Go ahead, take it low. It's all yours. 17 looks like he might have got a little tight or let it go up there to get a great run off. And we're going to have a battle for the lead between the 16, the 17, and the 5. The 17 and the 5, they battled for the points lead over the first few races. It might not be long before that 17, he's got that clean air all over that Raise Energy Camaro.
Man, he must have swapped out Nos for Raise or something. He put something, kicked it on, said see you later, made his way around the 16 with ease. Next guy up on the list, like you said, the 5 of Brendan Book. He's going to be tougher competition. One of those guys, he knows what he's fighting for. He knows what the 17 is fighting for. He's going to give it all he can, see if he can't burn out those tires, but is refusing to give Holzer that top lane where we've sort of seen a good amount of passes happen today. He's been in that top lane. It looked like the 5 may have gone in the wall there.
Yeah, 5 might have tagged just a little bit, but the 16 of Cody Giles, he's going to give that 5 a little bit of a shot. I almost wonder if that right there made the 5 a little uncomfortable getting into the corner. Look at this side-by-side battle all the way through the corner, going down the Nellis straightaway. 5 right now, he still has the advantage. 17's going to go ahead and throw it in, but the 5's going to have the additional banking to help. No denying this 17. Move Holzer to P1, new leader.
And man, it's starting to look like that Cars 3 movie. You got Jackson Storm, Lightning McQueen. The 5 was Lightning, 17 was Holzer, takes off, says see you later. Look at the gap he's already starting to create just on that 5 after passing him nearly half a lap ago.
But what's really interesting, you look at these guys, okay? They were battling pretty hard right there, side by side, a little bit of nose to tail, but mostly door to door. And they still managed to somehow pull away from Jordan Bain back here in P3 and the 50 of John Honeycutt in P4 as they're showing a little bit of side-by-side action coming across the line.
This is making me start to wonder if guys came down for fuel after that first caution, and if they can get themselves successfully up to lap 55, which is only 5 laps away for these guys, they only have to stop once. As I say that, though, guys are starting to come down pit road. Could we see a potential fuel strategy coming out of these top leaders, trying to stretch that to lap 55 to help them stretch it to 110 after their pit stops, knowing that they only need to stop once? We saw it happen, turn down for what? They had that the sort of last minute. A few guys were trying to save fuel. A few didn't succeed, a few did. Could that potentially be something maybe the 5's eyeing up and the 17 isn't seeing just yet?
Well, I'll tell you what, that 17, he's now on cruise. He's trying to find the Vegas Strip. He's feeling lucky. He's going to go ahead and woe it up, try to bring it down to pit road speed. Great job by Holzer. Didn't spin it out. 5's going to come with him, as well as the 28 of Jordan Bain sitting right back here. 5 and 28 going to be side by side. There's the 23 of Jose Ruiz in the back. So that's going to hand the lead off to Elliot Henderson in this number 37. He's going to go ahead and grab a point for leading a lap. And I imagine once now that he's done that, rather, I should say, he's going to go ahead and bring that machine down pit road, get it serviced for brand new Eagle Feel Goods, top it off, and then come on back out. Maybe stay out one extra lap, depending if he brought it down pit road earlier during that lap 4, lap 5 caution. So we'll have to see, as you see the 17 on the bottom of your screen just now exiting the pits.
Yeah, I'm seriously thinking those guys that may have came down pit road for that fuel, this could be a huge advantage for them, like the 37, like the 6 of Joey Stone right here we're watching. He's still refusing to come on down pit road. If these guys can turn it into a one pit stop, that would be one of the most craziest things we may have seen in all, as now Joey Stone comes on down pit road.
Hold on to it. He locked it up so he didn't spin. He is across the pit lane. Hopefully he can get that thing cranked to the right. You don't want to back up too much. He's going to loop it around, get it straight. No harm, no foul, no yellow. Most important, but he didn't collect any other cars that wouldn't have seen him coming off of turn 4. Good job by Joey Stone to get that thing righted. And as all that was happening, that handed the lead over to the number 33 for old Jason Keffer, with DJ Stagner and Jordan Martin now running in P number 3.
Yeah, a lot of guys we don't necessarily talk about a ton, as we see that 33. He could potentially be on the strategy. I know I keep saying it, but at this point, you gotta start thinking about it. Lap 54, he comes down lap 55. If he can stretch that fuel, granted, he did not come down. That's the good question, is whether or not he came on down pit road and got fuel when that first caution came out. It looks like he hasn't. So if he can stretch it out to lap 55, this is really going to put a possible question mark over the rest of the driver's head, thinking, hey, does he have enough fuel? Is this going to be something that he can do? And we're all going to be sitting here having to come down one more time, as this 33 is going to have to woe it up on down pit road.
Good job by him to get it slowed up and woed up. That's going to hand it over to the 64 Exalta Toyota of DJ Stagner, and Jordan Martin right behind him in that number 88 Good Humor Camaro. So when the 33 came down pit road, he had a 9-second gap between himself and DJ Stagner. And behind these guys, here you see the 60 of Jeff No with Perrin Huggins right behind him. And then, of course, there's that 16, the guy that was sitting in, P3, I believe, after the 17 was able to get on by the 5 and take the lead. He came down a couple laps before the 17. He was on that fresher rubber, and he completely ate away at that deficit. But he's got old Mr. Holzer right in his rear view.
Yep, Holzer now going to make a move to the outside lane on that 16 Target Chevrolet. Is now they're going to go 3 wide. Nope, 16 thought better of it. He's going to go and let off in that corner. But Holzer, look at him just blowing past everybody on that outside lane, getting around the 33, which is now going to find himself one lap down. It's going to be interesting to see how that's going to play out for him. Now Holzer on the outside of that 60 of Jeff. No, look at him, just takes off after he was able to get around those two.
Yeah, Jeff, no, I don't believe he has come down pit road just yet. A little bit of a blink for him. Not too bad, though. He kind of reappeared right off the bat. 33 to his inside. The 28 to his outside. Here comes the 8 of Tom Flitcroft to his outside as well. Jeff No right now, he's dropped back to P number 7. If a caution was to come out, that would set him up pretty nicely with Perrin Huggins in this number 31 right behind him. And oh, by the way, Stout Whiskey, Jeff No, he's racing with all brand new equipment. He's got some brand new Logitech pedals and wheel and all that. So he's breaking this stuff in. I imagine that as he gets used to this new equipment, his finishes are going to get better and better. Look out for Stout Whiskey to make noise as this season goes on. I'm glad he's doing pretty well right now. He just needs a little bit of a break. Up front right now, though, it's still the 64 of DJ Stagner and Jordan Martin right in his rear view.
Yeah, those two pitting last on lap 41, so they have about a 10-lap advantage on the rest of the field, but that also could hurt them in the late run. 64, though, let's just go ahead and skip past him. He's got Jeff Gordon's scheme on it. Over to the 88. No, just playing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we spent a whole lot of time on the 17 as he gets on by the 6 of Joey Stone. That's going to put Mr. Stone a lap down. Might have either got caught on pit road or maybe just a little bit further behind. But that's going to go ahead and put Joey a lap down. Next behind him is going to be the 16 Target machine. The 28 rather, B-Water machine for Jordan Bain, and then Cody Giles in this number 16 Target machine. That's going to be your top 5 so far. So it's going to be Stagner, Martin, Holzer, Bain, and Giles.
Yeah, Joey in the 33 now starting to battle it out. One spun, the other one trying to save fuel as the 64 and 88 are going to try to check out here on the rest of the field. But Holzer starting to reel them in now, down to 2 seconds on those guys. As you see, he's starting to creep in. These two maybe line up, try to push their cars just a little bit more. They got to start finding something, or else that 17 is going to get around them and once again hit that cruise control and take off. But I don't know, man. It looks like those two are slowly starting to lose momentum. Tires now starting to come into effect for them.
Absolutely. Right now, James Holzer, he's sitting roughly 2 seconds or just under 2 seconds behind this 88 of Jordan Martin, riding on board right now with that 17. He's looking pretty good. Let's actually jump in with him to his cockpit. And what do you say we do a little bit of a crank it up session, ride around with the guy that's made the most moves so far? We'll go ahead and leave it all right here. You guys go ahead and crank up that surround sound. Enjoy. Well, guys and gals, you had a first-hand view of what it was like to be old Mr. Holzer to get on by the top 2. Again, a new leader. That's going to be the number 17 Raise Energy machine for James Holzer. He was able to catch the 5, take over the points last week after Martinsville, and it looks like that momentum is just really carried on over here to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. At this pace, I mean, he's going to really rack up a ton of points. He's going to have a ton of chips to go to Harrah's later, listen to Caesar sing, hang out with the showgirls, and, man, I'd love to know what he's figured out with his wheel, with his pedals, how he's, where he's picked up this little knack.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's so impressive to watch because you think like, oh, okay, You see Holter come out here, dominate the mile and a half. So you're like, how does he do that? Especially at a track like this, you're sort of letting off just a tad. And the fact that he's able to keep his tires pretty much the same the entire run, that also blows my mind too. And then you get guys like Nathan that come out and dominate Watkins Glen, and you're trying to figure out how are they able to slow it up, no spin of the tires. They're able to take it nice and easy around the course and not wreck themselves. It's so impressive to watch and see and sort of learn from these guys. I tell you what, though, after this race, I'm going to go talk to that 17, see if I can't get some lessons from him. Because right now, he's definitely putting on a clinic for this entire field.
Absolutely, doing a phenomenal job. I mean, he's definitely figured out something. But you know what? He's had a lot of practice too. Ever since he switched over to iRacing, he's been in PSES. He's been in a bunch of other places, and he's just done a phenomenal job. He's done his homework, figured out what he can and what he can't change, what each change does. He just does a great job. Or like Spurl says out there in chat, he's just hitting B for boost. Could be that too. Maybe he's figured out a way to get a little bit of NOS underneath that Rays machine, or he's figured out how to get that kick that Rays gives you without making his heart go pitter patter with no calories and all that. I think there's something to this 17.
Yeah, maybe he's also hydrating himself with the new Race Energy hydration packets he's got, putting in his B water, see if that can't help him out a little. Hey, Pete, why not? Let's go ahead and check off one of the bingo boards. You should talk about filter time.
Filter time? Filter now. Actually, let's go ahead and find out where our buddy is. Let's see, where is the 77 right now for Tyler Dohar? Here he is, back here in that filter time. Looks like he's right behind the 53. It looks like for John Osborne. Dohar right now, it doesn't look like he's breathing too happy. He might actually need to come on down pit road, change out that filter. I don't think FilterTime makes filters for race cars, but they make one hell of a filter for for your condo, for your apartment, for your house, whatever you may need. And if I'm not mistaken, you can actually go to filtertime.com, and you could set it up to where if you need your a little bit of contact there, that's gonna send cautions out, and we kind of know why. Let's go ahead and actually bring it back to the 53 of John Osborne, and we will play that back.
Oh man, wow! Unfortunate events that just happened there.
It's actually saying, I'm going to guess maybe this 52 hit him. Just barely clipped that right rear, and it sent that 52 straight to the wall. Very unfortunate. Now, I kind of wonder if the 53's spin would have actually brought out the caution, but I think it was between those two that they went ahead and threw it out there. So we're gonna rack and stack them back up. Pace car's gonna collect the field. Weeks, I definitely see you out there. Thanks for coming out one more time. I definitely appreciate you.
So at this point, I think everybody's sort of good. You're gonna come on down lap 72, get those tires, fuel. That's not gonna put yourself without even having to stop for fuel, tires. At that point, this is it. You're going to drive for your life. And the question is who's going to be the one that's sort of going to be able to keep up with the 17, one of the dominant cars we've seen almost all night.
Yeah, now is going to be a good chance for everybody to grab those Eagle Feel Goods, get any little bit of damage that they might have taken care of. We're on lap 74 right now, coming to lap 75. So we've got 35 laps remaining. It's going to be, everybody will be able to go from here. So it's going to be all out, no holds barred, as the saying goes. Big thank you to Jacob NASCAR out there for the follow, and old Shad Swatsworth, SS Motorsports, for the 30 bits. Definitely appreciate you as well, buddy. Please don't ever think that I don't, because I absolutely do. All right, so back up front, looks like James Holzer, he's going to be able to retain that lead. It's going to be the 28 of Jordan Bain behind him, DJ Stagner, Jordan Martin, and Brendan Book. Now, Brendan Book in that 5, he was very, very quick in the short run, was able to hold off the 28, able to hold off the 16, able to hold off the 20, the 74. He was able to hold off quite a few cars. So he's definitely got that short run speed. Do you think he's going to be able to get up here and challenge the 17 under the short run, or do you think he's going to be able to get that going the entire way?
That's a great question. I don't know. I see the 5 being able to get up there and battle with. He started falling off maybe roughly 30, 40 laps into the run. So it's about a 35 stint run that's going to happen here once these guys go ahead and double file up and get ready to actually go green again, as they are still under pace. So I wouldn't be surprised if this 5 does try to challenge this 17. Then again, we saw this 17 blow past everyone on old tires, and they were all still the exact same. All came down, all refused to come on down once that first caution was thrown. Next thing you know, Holzer came through, drove his way up to the position he is now. I wouldn't be surprised if he drives away again. Then again, this 28.5, they got fresh tires. They may be able to keep up with this 17 and sort of learn his pattern and where his true points at the track is where he drives away.
Absolutely. Spurl out there in chat asking for a replay. So let's go ahead and pick it back up with Derek Sherman as he collected a little bit of damage off that 53. Let's go ahead and take a look back. 52 watching the 53 spin, not quite where to go, just barely nicked the back bumper, sent him to the outside wall, able to blow it up so he didn't hit the inside wall. And I don't think the 53 was all that much for all that worse for the wear either. Everybody else able to find their way on by.
That was most definitely one of the, I think, the luckiest parts for some of these guys was being able to get past that. Unfortunately, unlucky for that 52, finding himself involved right in it. It looked like he tried making a last-minute move and just didn't pay out for him.
Absolutely. So we know Boehner can get it done on restarts and also on the long run. He was able to stay up there. Everybody pretty much on equal tires as we see the lights on that pace car are turned off. Your top 5 here are going to be Holzer, Bain, Stagner, Martin, and Book. The rest of your top 10 is going to be Henderson, Moore, Flitcroft, Honeycutt, and then Hunter Brittle. They're all side by side, lined up. 17's going to jump on that loud pedal first. 28 might have been snookered just a little bit. We're back green.
One of the great things I've seen so far this entire season has been how that 17's been able to throw everybody off guard with his restarts. We saw it happen at Martinsville. He was able to get almost half an entire track. He even threw people off. They said in post-race interview, well, actually not post-race interviews, but after, saying I couldn't get to the pedal fast enough. And when I did, I tried timing him up, and he slowed up for a bit, played some games with me. Caution flies out. I was rambling on too long, now wasn't I?
No, not at all, man. You're absolutely right. It looks like this one is going to be Perrin Huggins. A little bit further back, so we're going to go ahead and find old Perrin right now, see exactly what this is about. Pace car's out, collecting the field, as you see it right there in the middle of the backstretch, but let's go back with Perrin. A little bit further back in this food line, number 31, 94, makes a little bit of contact. Actually, let's go ahead and rewind that. Just a little bit, but Perrin definitely sustained a lot of damage right there. We're going to switch things up. Let's stop that. Switch this over to the 34 and see what transpires there. That was a 34, right? No, that was a 74 rather, if I'm not 94 of Sam Morris. There we go. So let's play it from here. So it looks like he makes just a little bit of contact with Stout Whiskey. Jeff No on that bottom line. and collects just a little bit, but a couple people go sliding on by. I think that facial expression of that tune on his bumper cover says it all.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? I'm going for a ride. As he screams for his life, hoping that he doesn't find himself once again collected in another wall. And I think that's unfortunately just what may have happened tonight and transpired out for him. It's very unfortunate to see something like that. Although, one of the guys that's been Mr. Unlucky, as they would put it, the 60 of Stout Whiskey, Jeff No, however you know him, maybe Jeff No Shirt No, totally depends, maybe Jeff Bald No, I don't know. He's got so many nicknames, but yeah, able to escape out of that one with little to minor damage.
Yeah, after that little bit of contact, he was able to save that number 60, looking pretty good in that Winn-Dixie Ford Mustang, sitting right there behind the 77 of Tyler Dohar and right in front of the 33 of Jason Keffer, as the 09 of Toll Owen is going to go ahead and try to work his way back up on track. Spurl says he's no shirt, no. Alpha York kind of thought that was pretty funny, but I'll tell you what, no matter, you can cut it one way or cut it another. Stout is one hell of a guy, and he's one hell of a friend. I am absolutely happy to know him. I've actually been able to meet up with him, go out and have lunch, catch up at a race. He's actually one hell of a guy, and he's one hell of a. A lot of people don't know this. He's actually a teacher. He's just an all-around great guy.
Yeah, most definitely. It's been very unfortunate to see him get collected in certain stuff. He's like, man, I don't know what to do anymore. iRacing, I've been on here, 10 out of my 13 races have ended in a collision. And over in the B-Water series, he said he's only completed 40 laps so far this entire season. Hopefully with this new wheel that he's got and everything, that will turn around for him. Obviously, the luck of him is very unfortunate, and that man deserves much better with how much he drives and how aggressive he gets. I definitely can't wait for the day that he's up here in the booth with us talking, saying, hey, I got it done. This is it. This is where I got it done. And now we're just waiting on that day to happen. Hopefully it's next week, right?
I don't think it's going to be very long at all. Like I said, once he figures out the settings that he needs on that wheel, he's going to be good to go, and I have no doubt that he'll work his way around and through this field to start getting some great finishes.
Most definitely, as it looks like they are starting to double file them up now. So at 80 laps now completed in this race of our scheduled 110 laps, at roughly 30 laps left to go in this race. Are we starting to see aggression turn up a little bit more? Do cautions start breeding cautions, or do you think these guys are going to say, hey, you know what, still 30 laps left in the race, let's take it nice and calm on the start?
No, there is no calm. I foresee the 17 of Holzer getting another great start, maybe playing a little bit of game with the 64 of DJ Stagner to the outside. Brendan Book, probably his biggest rival right now, is gonna start right behind him with Jordan Martin. And of course, you got the 37 out there for Elliot Henderson, and then Jordan Bain. None of these guys up here have the word slouch tied to their name in any kind of way, shape, or form. I expect all these guys, elbows up and really get after it.
Well, we'll have to see if that one comes true. I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, if guys do get side by side, they're going to be aggressive, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see pinching on that high side. There you go. Holzer going to go ahead and take his jump, but the 5 of Brendan Book was already hot on his tails. He's going to stay right behind him as the 64 and outside lane struggle to get going.
Absolutely. They're going to take it 3 wide between the 88, 28, and 37. 37 wisely checks up for just a moment and finds that hole behind the 28. They're going to go single file down the Nellis straightaway. Top 3 right now with a little bit of a gap. And then the 88, 28, 27 of Maxwell Castro, 50 of John Honeycutt, now sliding underneath the 37 of, or trying to slide underneath the 37 of Elliot Henderson. But that 17, James Holzer, he's got a good, 2/10 on the top, I'm sorry, on car 5. Car 5, there we go. And then the 64 right behind. Now the 64 and the 5, they're going to need to team up. They're going to have to try to find a way to get up there, push, do whatever they got to do. And then when it comes down to it, it's every man for himself. Will it be the tire game? It's definitely not going to be a fuel game. Everybody can make it from here, Byron.
Yeah, I saw actually Josh Harbin made himself up in the wall not that long ago in 1 and 2 last time by. But up here, yeah, gaggle of cars starting to happen here, battling for the lead. Holzer not being able to get the runaway that he was expecting early on into this run. He's going to have the 5 and the 64 both hot on his tails, giving him a mirrorful. Look at that 5 all over his back bumper. See if he can't make the move to the inside, but these guys trying everything they can to get around this 17 Rays machine.
Absolutely. Looks like the 17, he thought about trying to come on down and slam that door shut one more time. 5 wasn't able to carry the speed. That is the issue. That's the problem with that bottom line. You can't get back into the throttle and get up and go because the car just wants to push, especially with the bumps down there. So the 64 now, he's got the momentum on the high side. He's going to be able to get on by the 5. Come on down, shut that door. Now the 88's got a little bit of a pull from the 5. 28 of Jordan Boehner, 2 is outside. There's the 37 and the 50. The 50 of John Honeycutt right now is still hanging out in P number 7. Is he saving, knowing that they've got 25 laps remaining now? But man, you can't wait too long. You gotta go.
Yeah, pay attention to this 28 here down the corner. He may try to pinch that 88. He did it last time by no. He's going to play less aggressive this time around. 17, though, still being able to do everything he can. Meanwhile, 37 and 50 trying to catch themselves back up into this dogfight that's going on for P number 5 and even closer up in the pack where the 5's trying to catch the 64. Everybody now trying to scramble for position, trying to grab everything they can with a little less than 25 to go in the race.
Absolutely. Boehner up outside the 88. He's got a little bit of a pull from the 5 of Brendan Book and the 50 of John Honeycutt staying up there as well. Caution's out.
Man, it is not shown on the SDK, but assuming by the amount of passes that happened, I wouldn't be surprised if it is on good old Hunter Brittle.
Yep, looks like it's going to be Hunter Brittle, and I think Jeff No, as we'll go back and take a look at the replay here in just a little bit, I think Jeff No might have gotten into this just a little bit as well. Alfred York out there, he's saying, man, he wishes he could have been here, but had to go for a COVID test, and that's weird. I've never heard of a test coming back inconclusive. So it wasn't a yes, it wasn't a no. Just go home and get some rest. But let's go ahead and jump on board with Hunter Brittle right now. Find out what happened. Oh, looks like that we kind of caught that midstream. Let's back this up a little bit and play from here. You got about a foot of net code there between him and the 81 of Jaden Gimbel, and as the 10 comes down, he collects, I think it was going to be the 6 of Joey Stone and a couple of others. Now, I mentioned that I think Jeff No might have picked up a piece of that as well. Let's ride along with Jeff No in the 60. There's a 60 behind the 9, went down to the apron, and the 34, he came down to try to avoid what was going on up by the wall. Jeff No, even though he was doing everything he needed to do to avoid it all, still gets collected. God, somebody needs to refill the luck in his horseshoe because he needs it badly.
Yep. Or maybe he needs to start putting shoes on.
Yeah.
Maybe no racing shirt. Maybe. No, you never know though.
I don't know.
You gotta do something, right? Something at this point. I feel for him. The amount of wrecks he's found himself in is just intolerable. I'm glad, though, that he's been able to continue. Obviously, I think if that was me, I would have said, you know what, that's it, I'm done. I quit. You can have my $100. I don't want to be here no more.
There's no quitting Stout Whiskey. As long as I've known him in NNR and everywhere else, absolutely not. No quit in Stout whatsoever. He's going to press on. He's going to press on here. There's still a whole lot of season yet to go. He's going to press on in B-Water. He's going to press on everywhere that he needs to be. And again, big thank you to FilterTime for sponsoring this eSpark Xfinity Series, hydrated by our buddies over at B-Water.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna go take a big old swig of my B-Water with this Baja Lime Raise Energy hydration packet mixed in.
Yeah, did you get that B-Water using a promo code BFAST in all capital letters to get $5 off? And then did you head over to Raise and use code REPEAT1975 to get 15% off your purchase over there?
Shh.
Oh, we're not supposed to tell them. That's right. It's for us, right?
No, absolutely not. As you see there with the 28 of Jordan Bain, I'll actually get a little close and personal with this Mustang. If you go to bwaterbu.com and you go to purchase either a case standalone, or if you decide to get a subscription, when you're going to checkout, put in promo code BFAST, all capital letters, for an immediate $5 off of your order. Whether it's a 6-pack of water, which is brand new by them, or a case of 24, or maybe even their brand new Stay hemp derivative beverage, all for the vitamins and minerals and everything good that comes out of the hemp extract. There's nothing in there that's gonna make you feel any kind of loopy, so you ain't got to worry about that. No THC, none of that. It's just the benefits of hemp itself. And then of course, yeah, go on over to. I'll tell you what, Byron. I'm gonna share a little something different. Go to repsports.com/free. Okay, repsports.com/free, and get a. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna give you 4 cans of Raise Energy. I'm gonna give you some Sleep Aid. I'm gonna give you some pre-workout, as well as some hydration packets. You pay $10 and I'll send you a $10 e-gift card back by email. Shh, okay? Yeah, repsports.com/free for a free set of Raise Energy. But Holzer, he's still out there in the front. As a Raise insider, I gotta root for that 17. But as a friend of Boehner, I gotta root for that outside line as well. That pace car, he's going to make a left turn towards Albuquerque. Here we go one more time. 17 on the jump. 41 of Justin Mons finds himself in P2. 28 of Boehner, P number 3. And here comes that 94 for Sam Morris. Where'd he come from?
Yeah, Mr. Who and where did he come from? 94 Samuel Morris now looking to the inside on both the 28 and the 41. Not going to be able to get either of them, but is going to play patient. And, man, I tell you what, right now, he's doing everything he can, and playing patient is the right move to make. Meanwhile, 41-28, they're going to go side by side. May burn their tires up just a tad. But this 17, rather, man, I'm speaking super fast. I think I'm at a Barrett-Jackson auction or something. 17 driving away, and just like that, good old hyper sleep that you get over in your Raise pack, he is just knocking everybody out right now, driving out to almost a second gap on the entire field, while Bain trying to maintain second.
Yeah, Bain, he made a great move, and that goes to show the banking that we talked about at this track earlier on. Sound like a street pharmacist. Appreciate you, Cape. But yeah, Jordan Bain able to use that banking in that second groove to really rock it off the corner, and he's got just about 7/10 now to try to catch up to that 17. Bain, he's fast on these new tires. Doesn't quite have the same long run as the 17 had earlier, but the 17 he was saving just a little bit until later on. Right now there is no later on. Everybody's got to go.
Yeah, everybody pushing for all they can. Bain, though, looks like he's maybe starting to get a hold of that mid to high groove. He's refusing to touch that white apron as of right now in 1 and 2. We'll have to see if he repeats it again in 3 and 4. Maybe that's the secret Holzer has had, is being able to run just a little bit off that apron and take away sort of that bounciness at the bottom, upsetting your car and making it shake a little. But Bane trying everything he can, trying to do something, trying to fish in, reel in that 17 rather. And it's working out just a tad. He's being able to keep up with him, but tenths not decreasing the amount he wants it to.
No, he's still 7/10 behind. Now he's got his draft. You know, on the straightaway, he's staying right there. In the corner, he's diving down. He's keeping right on about the same line, maybe half a groove up. But he's not really losing. He did lose a little bit right there coming off the corner, about half a tenth. He really needs some help from behind. He needs the 41 of Mons. He needs the 64 of Stagner, or maybe the 94 I'm sorry, not the 94. Yeah, 94 is Sam Morris, unfortunately, as he just fell back a spot or two. But he needs some help from behind to try to get a push up to that 17, or at least get a little bit stronger of a pull off that draft. But right now, that 17 with 14 laps remaining, if this is how it ends and there's no more cautions, I think this 17 might have it, because everybody's pretty much just all out, flat out.
Yeah, that's true. At this point, those guys in the back weren't able to get lined up fast enough. At least I don't think. We saw it happen early on into the race. We saw a 2-car breakaway. Then an entire pack just came out of absolutely nowhere, caught right back up to the 3 leaders. And then it was an all-out brawl there. As you see the 5 of Brendan Book trying to keep within that points range on that 17 for the lead of the points range. But I don't think that's going to happen this race, as they are 3 wide in the back. Honeycutt, 16 and 94, all going to be able to keep it nice and clean, though. Nice and tidy, rather, as the inside do make a crossover down through 1 and 2.
Yeah, 50 Honeycutt, he was able to hold that high, wide, and handsome, while the 16 and 94 were kind of dueling just a little bit. 41 of Justin Mont's going to slide up, and oh boy, that was close. But the 28, I think he has tried to charge for all it was worth. And this line of cars that drafted off the back bumper, that 28, able to shoot on by. So that's going to move DJ Stagner in that number 64 up to P number 2. An easy second, rather, behind James Holzer. And then you've got the 88 of Jordan Smith, the 5 of Brendan Book, and move the 50 of John Honeycutt now up to P5.
Keep your eyes on that 64. I'm watching this SDK right now. He just caught 2/10 on that 17 and is moving in nice and high. He's trying everything he can. Meanwhile, the 88 right behind him of Jordan Martin trying to give him some sort of push, though, starting to fall off. But DJ now down to 0.5 of a second on this 17 with a little less than 10 to go in the race.
Absolutely, a little bit of a blink there out of the 17 of Holzer. Now down to 4.5, getting closer and closer. As you said before, cue the Jaws music, or if you want, you could pull in a little old Tony Stewart out of the bag. Here, kitty, kitty, kitty.
As long as they don't flip the field and have one go one way, the other go the other way, I think we'll be all right down here. It's the 64 now down to 0.3. Did the 17 use up all his tires? Is the 64 using too much of his tires? Only time will tell, P. 9, about 8 to go left in the race.
Yep, 64 getting closer and closer, now down under 0.2. The 17, he sees the 88 coming of Jordan Martin. Brendan Book right there with him. Jordan Bain falling from P2 all the way back to P9. I'm going to guess he is used up. So the 17, he's got a mirror full now. He sees that train a-coming, as Johnny Cash would have loved to sing. 64 all over the back bumper. 88's going to go swing up high. 5-car Brendan Book's going to try to dive under. John Honeycutt, he's going to try to follow with the 16 and the 37. They're side by side. It's absolutely getting tense. Get back up here with Holzer, trying to fend off that 64. He's caught him, passing, as always, something else.
Oh,
Caution's
man,
out.
caution's going to fly. Wow. What do you do now? Do you come on down for tires?
No.
Or you stay out?
Nope.
Huh?
No tires.
No?
Now, although We've seen this in real NASCAR many times. Leader stays out, everybody behind him pits. Just a sitting dog. I believe we're going to go back and try to find out exactly what happened. This might have something to do with the 3-car of Josh Harbin. Stand by 1 second. Let's kind of drop back and take a look right now. 3-car under the 53, a little bit of a hook job there. 3 up hard in the inside wall. 53 nowhere to go in that petty blue car. Very unfortunate. It just kind of dogged them along. Yeah, just kind of met in the middle. Replay it one more time. Yeah, 53 came down, I think, just as the 3-car held his line. I tell you what, though, still big props to Josh Harbin, old Bear 95, for just getting on iRacing just a couple of very short weeks ago and holding his own.
Yeah, that is very impressive to see. Typically nowadays you don't really see that happen with a lot of the guys, as not as many as I thought would take pit road and come on down. Jordan Bain, Justin Mons, looks like they're going to be your only 2 takers on down pit road, which does make sense. That 28 lost a ton of tires on the last run. Wouldn't be surprised if he tries to do something this run. I think he's just a little bit too far back, and a ton of guys refuse to come on down pit road. But top 10 right now, it is almost a Chevy and Toyota takeover. No Fords in sight until the until the back of 17, the 60 of Jeff No. If you're the 17, you know the restarts he gets. At what point do you try to fake out the 64 like you did at Martinsville, or are you putting pedal to metal as soon as that pace car drops?
As soon as that pace car is off the track and gets past the that line, you drop the hammer and you go. There's no other way. How about old Cody Kepner, old striker out there in chat? Cody, Kepner, good to see you. Definitely appreciate you coming out. Alpha York saying Brendan Book is in the best spot. I gotta agree with you. Sitting P3 is gonna have the best view of when the 17 of Holzer goes, where the 64 being to his outside, maybe not so much. He'd have to be toggling to his left to look out the window, meanwhile, trying to pay attention and drive straight at the same time. So yeah, it's going to be the 17.5, and then of course the 50 of John Honeycutt. He's going to be the 3rd car in line on the bottom as well. It could be a pretty good starting spot for 1st, 3rd, and 5th.
I beg to differ. I don't think that 5's going to get. Well, that 5's going to get a good jump on that 17. But the last time we saw that happen, the 5 dropped like a box of rocks. Found himself all the way back to P7. Struggled to fight his way back up. Then it seemed like cars starting to tick off. Then he was able to take advantage. I wouldn't be surprised if this 50 of John Honeycutt is able to create some sort of friction between the 5 and him, pushing him up a bit, allowing that open lane on that bottom half. That's where you want to be on these restarts at this point. Bottom half, yes, you may get pinched, but at least your tires are warm. You're ready to roll down there.
Kepner out there saying, I will be back soon. Just had a new addition to the family and busy with work, but be looking for me to turn up sometime soon. Well, I'll tell you what, Kepner, congratulations on your new addition, right along with Shad Swatsworth and Curtis Swatsworth. It seems like COVID has kept a lot of people at home and maybe trying to keep warm in different ways. Congratulations, Kepner, to you and the entire family. Alf York saying Holzer is a sitting duck, and it's absolutely possible, but we're going to have 3 to go. Green, white, and checkers. The lights on the pace car are off. They're going to make this one last circuit, get ready to get going. They're all double file. We saw the 50 swerving back and forth, trying to build up a little bit of heat in his tires. You don't want to scrub them too much because you need every bit of grip that you can muster for these final 3 laps. You want as much throttle time here, Byron, as you could possibly get.
Most definitely. As much as you can get is all that you need. Right now, you're in that position. You're lined up. Heartbeat is racing. Your heart's racing. Your mind thinking, what could happen? I caught this 17. He was slower last time by. Is he going to be better on a little bit colder tires as they did slow down? What is his plan of attack? When's he going to take off? All the things rolling through your head. You got to keep it to a bare minimum. Tunnel vision at this point. You're focused on the lead, focused on the win. And I think that's what everybody's going to attempt to do. Pace car, lights off, coming off 4 right now.
Absolutely. All the lights are off. These guys, they are completely turned on inside those trucks. Every sense is heightened. 1764, 588, 50. All about ready to go. 64 actually gets a pretty good start. He must have been listening for when the 17 jumped on a throttle. He's going to be able to stay P2, and he was running down that 17 just before that yellow flew. Can he catch him? 5 of Brendan Book hot on the tail of that 64, and then the 88 machine right behind him. They've got a 3-car train trying to catch up to that 17 as they come across the line off of 3 and 4. This will be white flag.
Everybody now scrambling for position. The 5 of Brendan Book, one of the fastest cars out of the gate. 17 of James Holzer, one of the fastest cars in the late run. Those two now going to battle it out while DJ is right in the middle of all of it, trying to claim this win, trying to take out this 17 from yet another victory in this mile and a half.
Absolutely, DJ Stagner right there with him. We're going to actually go ahead and ride on board with him in that chase cam. You see him getting closer and closer. Does he have enough of a pull? Here he is all over the back bumper. Can he dive low and maybe do something? Nope, it's going to be Holzer going for win number 4 here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Congratulations, James Holzer.
Man, we might as well rename him the James Holzer, the king of mile and a half. That is now number 3 there, number 4 of the season so far. And I tell you what, he's looking like a veteran out there with the amount of wins he's been able to grab. He's looking like Kyle Larson this season so far, being able to grab already 3/4 of the races. And he's going to be a force to reckon with once we get later on in the season and even postseason.
Absolutely, we brought up the points here earlier for everybody. Holzer already on top by, I believe, a double-digit lead. Here he is. He's going to go ahead and burn him down. He'll be listening to Caesar sing. He'll be dancing with the showgirls on stage. He's won the jackpot here at Las Vegas.
Most definitely. One heck of a race he's been able to run. We saw it. Back of the pack, all the way up to the front. 26 positions was the final tally of the amount of cars he was able to pass tonight. Well, that's just passing for position. I'm sure he passed well over probably most, if not the entire field tonight. It's such a huge, impressive run, and the amount of stuff this man's been able to do just in the little time of this season.
Absolutely. The man, he's a phenomenal driver as you see him trying to still continue to burn him down, riding along with the drone shot, going backwards through the backwards on the track. Old Polish victory lap coined by Alan Kowicki. Not able to hold on to it with that banking, but man, great job by Holzer. All right, guys and gals, we will be right back with our top 3 in the booth. Please don't go anywhere. You're definitely going to want to listen to Holzer. You're going to want to hear what DJ Stagner has to say about what he might have needed. Was it just one more lap? And did Brendan Book, does he wish that maybe he had played a little bit of strategy and tried to bring the rest of the field down pit road during that last caution? We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back, and we've got, so far we got the driver number 5, old Brendan Book. A little bit of a difference in the paint scheme tonight. That black target machine definitely looked great out here, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Brendan, first off, man, great job, great rebound after last week. It's definitely going to help you to get back a few points after James Holzer's win last week at Martinsville. Now, in the beginning of the race, you were able to grab a few tenths on the rest of the field. Was that did you kind of burn them up in the beginning, or is a long run really what you needed rather than that caution with 3 laps to go to try to do something with that 17?
Yeah, early in the race, I feel like, I don't know if I really did burn them up or not. I felt like, other than the 17, I held my own pretty strong there. I was holding off Cody and I can't remember who the other guy was now. I'm trying to blank, but Bane, that's who I was holding off as well.
Yep.
I think I did a good job there, although I think the high side helped me, but I don't know. I was fine with the short, medium, or long run. And honestly, I didn't think I had the fastest car either way. But I think I was, real solid, top 3, top 5. As far as the end there, I mean, I just didn't want that last caution because me, DJ, Jordan, we all would have ate up James real quick, but that yellow allowed him the tires to cool off, and then him able to get like the advantage with a 2-lap shootout and with the lead to be able to get a little bit further out. So I just needed to stay green, and hopefully something would happen between DJ and James.
Well, man, you definitely had a car to contend all night long. You kept it clean, no real issues. Again, great job on this P3. Any quick shout outs for you, buddy?
Just everybody, was racing clean out there for the most part. We only had a few yellows, so that's good. After Martinsville, so we definitely didn't want to get back to 20 or whatever number we got. So that was real good. Long green flag runs, which is always fun. So just everybody in the league, good job. You guys as well. I'm sure you guys are putting on a great show.
Oh, it was absolutely a lot of fun watching everybody, really get the job done. Next week is New Hampshire. Very, very flat 1 mile track, 130 laps. It's a challenge all its own. Is that a track that you'll be prepared for, or is this a track that you'll need to get a little bit of practice in?
I might run a few laps, but I usually wait until like the actual session. I've done Martinsville, New Hampshire, and a bunch of other series. I don't think I've ever done the Xfinity car, but it won't overall be too much, different than the other ones. I feel like you still drive it a little bit the same way. Just depends on how much you're saving tire and whatnot. I just hope it doesn't turn out like Martinsville, because it's basically, a track that's just twice the size of Martinsville and the same exact thing. So we'll see.
It could be iRacing Super Speedway, which is 10 times the size of Martinsville, with greater banking than there. So, yeah, you're 100% right. Good job again, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, Byron, this DJ Stagner guy in this 64 Toyota Exalta car, why don't you talk to him about those colors on that Toyota?
I don't think I will. No, I'm just playing. DJ, man, yeah, you got a copy.
I sure do.
First off, what are you doing with a Jeff Gordon scheme off in your Toyota?
Well, it'll happen every once in a while. Gotta bring some good Jeff Gordon throwbacks in now and again.
Well, there you go. We found the dispute. We settled that one. But man, one heck of a race you had tonight. We were watching towards the end. You were right on that 17's bumper. You were pushing for everything you got, and then caution untimely came out, put advantage to that 17 race machine. But I'll tell you what, after having the start it looked like you had, to be able to finish top 3 tonight, walk us through that, because I'm sure that wasn't easy at all.
Yeah, me and my friend Jordan Martin, we just decided to play a little bit of strategy, because we started 10th or whatever, and there was no way we were getting to the front by passing everybody. There was too much blocking, and everybody was too equal. So we got a little bit off cycle. We knew that if we could get to the front, we could hold our own. But so that's what we did. We pitted a little bit earlier than everybody and got some track position. Then just called a good caution for us, and just so happened to work out for us to be able to finish second.
Well, the one thing I would have had is if that caution wouldn't have fell out at the end, would you think you would have had something for the 17, one, being able to get around him, and then two, being able to hold the lead for the rest of the amount of the laps? Or do you think tires may have came in too big of an issue and possibly threw you towards the back a little bit more?
I feel like if if it would have stayed green, I'm pretty confident at least myself and the 5 and probably the 88 would have all got around him. The race would have been between us 3, because at that point he probably had another lap, maybe 2 on those tires before he was going to get freight trained. So it would have been an interesting race nonetheless, but that caution was definitely not what any of us needed.
Well, untimely caution came out for you at the end, but a timely caution put you up in P3 tonight, man. Congrats. Before we let you go, you got anybody you'd like to thank?
I just want to thank Jordan, because me and him worked a lot this race, and it's been a day of heavy hearts for me and my family. So this was just a good way to close it, I guess.
Well, we wish you the most luck next week at New Hampshire, and most definitely with whatever may be going on over there. We wish you the best of luck, man.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Pete?
Yeah.
Hey, we got some crazy man up in here that was able to drive almost 26 positions tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think we're gonna have to change out the upholstery on this chair here, and just put a big old number 17 on the back, and it's just gonna say Holzer on the actual chair itself. Kind of like you see in Hollywood, where just a big star right there, because that is exactly what Holzer has become here. 4 wins in the first several races, doing everything that he possibly can. He had the points lead coming into tonight, and I don't know if it's just something about this Frost kind of a paint scheme for this Raise Energy machine, or maybe it's an insider kind of status thing that he's got going on. But Holzer, first things first, you got me, buddy.
Yeah, I got you loud and clear, Pete.
Man, James, I don't know what to say, bud. What can I ask you that I haven't already asked you 3 times before, man? Congratulations on this win, but I do need to know, before that caution came with 3 laps to go, 64 was really getting closer and closer. We were kind of counting down the tenths up until he actually made contact, or seemed to make contact with your back bumper. If that caution didn't come out, did you have enough to hold him off, or do you think you would have been able to pick a line and get on by, or do you think it would have been one hell of a duel to the finish?
It's definitely going to make it tough, but I really don't think there was going to be too much there, because I was on, at that point, pretty old tires. I mean, it was, I think, about 8, 9, 10 laps of green flag. Whenever I elected to stay out, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, I should probably come in case the late race caution comes out, then it's all going to be stacked back up. But just had the restarts figured out, too. I think everybody was restarting in second. I was able to get the power down in first really well. I was really able to get out, and that's what helped me on the green-white checkered. Got the tires cooled off enough to have just enough grip to be able to run wide open through 1 and 2, which I didn't think I was going to be able to do, but I figured screw it, might as well try it, because I got nothing else to lose. And yeah, I got 2 timely cautions there with staying out. The first one, he was definitely going to pass me there, and then the second one, he was once again probably going to get there. But like I said, I was going to make it tough. I was going to have to make him pass on the bottom, which is pretty bumpy down there, so it was going to be tough. But yeah, I don't know. We were just trying to learn. Didn't get a lot of practice in this week, and I wanted to start in the back because I didn't want to push my tires at all in the start. So just kind of rode around and just kind of picked them off one by one, and got there when I got there, and actually got up a lot further than I thought I was going to on the cycle. I didn't think I was going to be able to get all the way to the lead there before the first pit stop. I was curious to see how I was going to go if it rolled out. I don't know if Bane had fresher tires or what the status on that was, but I know he's got a lot of speed and he was going to be there. And Elliott had fresher tires as well, and he started in the back with me, so because he had some connection issues, and he actually got a timely caution there at the beginning on lap 2 to be able to catch back up and stay on the lead lap. So it would have been interesting, I think, for that to cycle out, but definitely a good rebound race for the series, only having a few cautions there. And as it's kind of, this track, there's a lot of different grooves you can run, so it's kind of opens up, but at the same time, leads to aggression and runs and all that stuff. So he did a pretty good job of as overall in the league. I'm proud of everybody here for doing a good job and showing up week in and week out. We got a solid group of 30 guys, it looks like, and that's pretty good for a league standpoint, just in the first season. So
Yeah, absolutely. So now here we are, your fourth win in just what 6 weeks. All right, Honeycutt got it done at Daytona. You got it done at Atlanta, at Michigan, at Martinsville, and now here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So you've got a very, very fast 2-mile oval. You've got a very, very slow paper clip shaped mile or half-mile track, and then 2.5 miles. Next week we go over to New Hampshire, a flat 1-mile track, kind of like what the Five was just saying about it just being a bigger Martinsville. As we go through the schedule, what is your kryptonite? What is the track that you say, okay, when we get there, I'm going to have to put a little extra practice in? Or are you just, are you just a very confident driver, confident in your abilities? And just like he said, you'll find out what the track conditions are like the day of the race. Get out there and see exactly what you're going to have.
yeah, we kind of set up these sessions so that way the drivers have good practice and knowing exactly what the temperature, what everything's going to be. It's identical to the practice sessions they do throughout the week. So I try to set those up, and I'll run maybe, I don't know, I think I ran 2 laps in the one session this week that Tyler put up, and just, got a kind of a feel on the car, but it was actually faster where it was at then because the temperature was lower. We decided to raise up the temperature a little bit just to make it a little bit racier with the heat, have a little bit more loose conditions. So it was a good call there on Tyler to raise the temperature there. But back to your question, not to stray away from it, to look at one track on the schedule that's going to be a kryptonite. It's definitely, I would say, would have to be honestly Auto Club. Probably the first round of the playoffs. I just had a race there on Saturday. We were up late because of the Rolex and computer issues and had to run a little bit extra, get up a little early, and I was only on a little bit of sleep. So even still at that though, I really was struggling with the long run speed there. So Auto Club's probably our number one worst track, and Charlotte too there at the end of the round got a lot better with the officials. I ran open, which I know it's different, but I just always struggle with building loose on the tires. I just kind of figured out a little niche there with helping with that. So I would say Auto Club's probably our number one kryptonite.
Well, there you go, man. You had a few people out there in chat, expressing their congrats. Jacob NASCAR, Rock NASCAR. I think I saw Spurl out there. Spurl, sent his congrats. I believe Cody Kepner. There's quite a few people out there, wishing you well. And man, same thing from both Byron and myself. Very, very impressive start to the season. You took the lead after last week in the points. That's going to extend a little bit after this week. Definitely look forward to seeing what you're capable of next week when we get to New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Kind of like you said, Book touched on earlier. It is a little bit of a like a longer Martinsville, but the racing groove does open up pretty well, and there's so many different lines you can run at New Hampshire. And officials are there this week. I'm not running the Xfinity car because I've been running opens, so I'm just running the truck this week. So it's not going to be excellent practice, and open's so much different than fixed with braking points and stuff like that. But still, getting laps around the track and just getting familiarized is definitely going to help us for next week. But because you can kind of just stay right above that seam that's not quite the bottom. You can roll up a lane all the way up to like where the dark part of the track is. You can kind of do like a slow entry on the high side and cut down all the way below the seam, go close to the inside wall and try to get a run there. There's just, the options are just so wide open. So just put on a really good race.
There you go. Well, Byron, that is going to wrap up Las Vegas Motor Speedway for us. James Holzer is able to knock another one out of the park, but it wasn't without challenge from DJ Stagner, Brendan Book, John Honeycutt, Sam Morris, and Boehner, and several others. Any closing thoughts here, buddy?
Not really at all. I mean, obviously, it was a great race. So we saw a bunch of side-by-side action. The ending definitely took a twist. Something I didn't truly expect was going to happen. And then, of course, getting ready for next week, New Hampshire, going to be a rough track for sure. Hoping that guys play it nice and clean, that the patience is going to be there next week. Hopefully, we don't have a Martinsville repeat, but these guys always find a way to turn it around. Can't wait for next week and what it brings.
Absolutely. Next week, everybody's going to have to try to figure out everybody else's braking and throttle points. But for young Byron Jones and myself, Repeat, we definitely wish you well. Thank everybody for coming out, hanging out, dropping some bits, the follows. It is absolutely appreciated. Want to definitely thank our sponsors, old FilterTime. Go on over FilterTime.com. Choose whether you need just a single source filter or if you want to subscribe to where it's automatically delivered to you on a normal basis. Also, our buddies over at Green Concepts and Be Water, we definitely appreciate that. Go on over to bewaterbu.com. Pick up whether you want a case, a 6-pack, or if you want to try their new Stay product, whatever it is, bewaterbu.com. Be fast in the promo code for an instant $5 off. Again, I'm Repeat. That was Byron Jones. We will see you next week. Take care.